Hello, boss man. How are you? Oh, that's fantastic. Good. I'm excited too. I have to say, your show is absolutely wonderful. It's a wonderful service that you're giving entrepreneurs and property investors around the country. I can, yes. I've been extremely well since I've been on your show. I think it was a number of months ago. Yeah, yeah. So we're doing very well. Sure, no, absolutely. Listen, my name is Richard Shepherd. I started really living in London with my professional life. I started actually as an actor. So I was an actor for 12 years across radio, film, TV, theatre.
Mm.
And then I did a master's degree in writing for film. And I decided I didn't want to be a starving writer living in an attic somewhere.
Mm.
Um, and I had to take life into my own hands, really, financially. So with that, I moved up to the north, up to the
Right.
northwest of England,
Okay.
and I started investing in properties. So I have a large property portfolio of over 50 properties in the
Wow.
north of England.
Okay.
Many of those were acquired using creative strategies. Now,
Great.
you can hear from my background
Yeah.
that I'm extremely creative. I'm extremely creative. My brain does not switch off.
Creative industry, man.
So I can't do anything, I can't do the same thing day after day after day after day after day. It has to be creative.
Mm.
And so we were starting to, creative property deals. We came across lease options,
Yeah.
which we learned from people outside of this country. Um, and then we brought them inside this country.
Mm.
So for the last 11, 12 years, I've worked with,
Ri-
the
Ri-
major lease option solicitor in the UK.
okay.
Uh,
Richard, just if you can adjust your camera a little bit. Uh,
sure. There
yeah,
we
I
go.
think. Yeah, I think it's much better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please. Please go on.
So yes, we were. I worked with the leading lease option solicitor in the UK,
Right.
and what they did is they turned around the legal paperwork that lease options are being used. So just for the people not aware what a lease option is,
Yes.
a lease option gives you the right, but not the obligation, to purchase a property within a fixed period of time. So basically, you can buy the property if you want to, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So all we're doing is signing agreements
Hmm.
with normal sellers or normal landlords of property that want to sell their property,
Right.
but they may have a problem that's attached to the property why they can't sell it. Maybe there's a legal problem or a
Mm.
mortgage problem. Maybe they've got a problem in their own personal life, whatever that problem is. And what we're finding is just by solving the problem, we're able to get into that property.
Hmm.
So whereas if you were going to get a mortgage on a property, you'd have to come up with, 10%, 20%, 25% deposit. With a lease option, you can legally have the option to buy that property for as little as £1. Okay.
Richard, no. Can I please stop you right there?
Yes.
Because for many listening to us and somebody that is new to property, hearing that you can buy a property as little as a pound.
Yeah, I didn't quite say you could buy it for a
Oh, you
pound.
could. Okay, so all right,
Yeah, you could have the option to buy
the
it for a
option
pound.
to. Okay,
But still, that heavily lowers your barrier to entry into the property market.
right.
Because what we find is that by paying a pound, maybe it's not a pound. Maybe it's the grand total of £100 or
Yeah.
£1,000 or even £10,000. You could have full control of the property, and then you can do what you want with it. You can rent the property out, you can do the property up, you can extend, you can do all these sorts of things to property and invest in property in much the way that the cash investors can, but for a fraction of the profit.
Right.
Sorry, a fraction of the outlay from your own pocket. So what that does is it maximizes your return on investment.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, you mentioned without obligation to buy,
Yes.
and with that, so does it mean if you get into that contract, you can bow out? I mean, at the term
Yes.
of the agreement, is that so?
Exactly. So you can buy it if you want to, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So let's say that I've got into an option contract with you, Bossman.
Yes.
You've got a property. It's a 3-bed terrace somewhere in London.
Yes.
Let's say that I've paid you, I don't know, ten thousand
That's why.
pounds
Yeah.
for this option.
Yeah.
I can pay you £10,000. I now control the property. We get to maybe 5 years later. You're now living in Bali or somewhere exotic.
Yeah.
I've got control of the property,
Okay.
and I'm deciding to, do I actually want to exercise the option and buy it outright, or if the market's crashed, maybe I don't want to buy it right now. Maybe I want to extend the option. Maybe I just want to sell it.
Right.
I've got all of these different options now in terms of what I can do based on the underlying market.
Okay. But that not too risky? As in, I mean, we get into an agreement, an option to buy the property, and then let's say after the 5 years agreement, I decide not to buy. So the the where does the property go?
Let me deal with the first question first. Is it not too risky?
Yeah.
I would argue that it's less risk because
Less
if
risks to the buyer, the
to
new.
the buyer,
Okay.
because the buyer, rather than getting, the average price of a 2-bed flat in London is 400,000.
Yes.
So if I want to buy that on a buy-to-let mortgage, I've got to pay £100,000 deposit.
Yeah.
Here, we're doing these deals for £10,000, £5,000, £2,000, £3,000 generally.
Yeah.
They do exist for a pound, but it's not necessarily in London. Okay, I like to be honest. Okay,
Yeah.
so would I rather pay £5,000 or £10,000 to get into a property, or would I rather pay £100,000 if something goes wrong or the market goes down? I'd rather pay less money.
Yeah.
I still have all the options available, but the key thing is this: you don't do anything without a little bit of risk.
Exactly.
So, property investment does take some risk. And what we do is we mitigate and we manage that risk. And that's what all about, learning what the shortfalls are of lease options compared to actually buying the property outright. But the second part to your question is we do use solicitors. Okay,
Right.
so we do have contracts. We do have legally binding contracts on both the seller and the buyer to protect both parties in these deals.
Okay. That sounds good then. That calms the whole situation down. Be, because as you mentioned, there's risks everywhere and everything that we do. But on the other side, people see property as something huge and so dear to their heart that it will be difficult for somebody to say, oh, I'm getting into a property deal and the risks involved and all those
Yes.
fears that people do entertain. Now,
Yes.
with this lease options, is it a popular model or is it getting popular?
It's well, we knew when we were working on this and adopting the legal paperwork and the way the lease options get done in the UK. We knew 10 years ago that it was going to be start to be popular now, and that's why we were doing these deals. Maybe in a short way, maybe there's a few people actually doing these deals.
Hmm.
My own opinion, and I have to stress this is an opinion
Sure.
of mine, so it does come with a health warning,
Mm.
is that it's going to get even more popular
Wow.
in the coming years due to, let's just call them, restrictions in the supply of money.
Okay.
So I don't think that bank lending's go or mortgage lending's going to grow and grow and grow. I think that's going to be a little bit more restricted in the coming years.
Right.
And because that becomes more and more restricted, I think the popularity of alternative strategies is going to grow.
Hmm. Super. So, and you just mentioned the traditional mortgage getting to a place where banks lending, and we know the difficulties that comes with all the banks and restrictions and limitations and people struggling to even get onto the property ladder. So,
Yes.
and if I do understand what you're saying, lease options, it's one of the surest way, the best, safest way, or is that to get
I
onto the
wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily call it the safest way.
right,
Um, it's not unsafe if you do it correctly,
right.
but it's not necessarily the safest way. But I don't know what the safest way is. The safest way is if you take all of £400,000 of your cash and you buy a property with cash.
If you want to say that again, because that's that sounds very interesting.
No, I was saying I don't think lease options are necessarily the safest way.
Yes.
If you do them in the right way with two sets of solicitors and everything is above board and you know what you're doing, it's safe. You've managed all of the risks. But the safest way has got to be if you put £400,000 of your own money into the property,
Hmm.
because now the mortgage lender can't take that property from you.
Yeah. I like that. Now, 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 right. So I know some of these questions. I know people will start sending some questions through, which they do, but let me be an advocate here. Um, I'm new to property. You're talking to me about lease options, and um, I'm I'm sort of a conservative person,
Yes,
and to get me to understand your model or get me to uh, really switch to lease options and save myself some money and also be able to uh, get a portfolio in no time.
yes,
I'm a conservative person. What will
yes.
be the sort of, I know you've answered this question, but it's coming in another way. What will be the easiest way to convince me?
I think the easiest way to convince you is to say that, listen, we wrote a set of manuals about lease options, which featured 54 ways to do lease options. We wrote them
54.
54 ways to use options. So
54.
we wrote them 9 or 10 years ago,
Okay.
and that they're still what I would call the Bible of lease options today.
Right.
Now, with that, one of the strategies might be if you can't get a mortgage on the property,
Yeah.
either for your own reasons or because the property doesn't have a kitchen or a bathroom.
Yeah.
If you can get hold of it for relatively cheaply,
Mm.
you can do the property up. You can get control of that property with an option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're quite conservative, so because you're quite conservative, you like the idea that you only spend a couple of £1,000s to get control of this particular property.
Yeah.
Now you're going to spend, I don't know, £10,000 either of your own money, money that you've borrowed, whatever, doing the property up. And you know that that property is worth a lot more. So now what you're going to do is you can exercise your option to buy the property under your control on the basis that it's completely done up. It looks absolutely beautiful, and the bank is delighted to actually lend to you at this point. So I would say that that's much more efficient way of purchasing a property rather than trying to get a bridge on a property and then trying to remortgage that property 6 months later, etc., etc. It's a lot more efficient.
Oh, brilliant. That sounds good to me. And so I know there's a major masterclass, is it training?
Yes.
Masterclass training coming up on the 30th of November.
Yes, that's right. So
Right.
it's a week on Saturday.
A week on Saturday. Sure.
Yeah. So it's Saturday, the 30th of November. And what we're doing is we're seeing a new breed of property investors.
Okay.
And it's not a case of sort of they're using only lease options. You know, they're using whatever strategy they need to make money on this particular property deal. Okay. Sometimes they'll do a bridge, sometimes they'll do, a mortgage, sometimes they use an option. But it's a new breed that are using. To the people that are only buying properties using a mortgage, I align that to playing football with only your left foot. We know that we can use our head, we can use our chest, we can use our knees, we can use the left foot, the right foot, the back of the foot, the left of the foot. There's all sorts of things that we can do.
Sure.
And it's similar. What these people are doing is, number one, they are acquiring properties to add to their property portfolios.
Yeah.
Number two, they're sourcing properties and then selling properties to investors. Okay. Number three, they're getting properties for themselves. Maybe they want to do the property up themselves, but rather than sell to an investor, they can sell it on to the open market in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months time for the maximum possible money. Okay, right. So they're making £40,000 per deal, £50,000 per deal by doing it that way, by controlling properties, yes, in London. So when I first started, people said that you can't really do deals in London, it's much too competitive, you can't really do it. But now we've got students, we have clients, we have mentees that are doing these kinds of deals in the London area, and it's extremely lucrative for them. So we have a lady right now, she's doing her first, she lives in London, but she's not even, she's not English. Right. She comes from Bulgaria.
Okay.
She's doing her first deal, which we are signing the paperwork on tomorrow, literally tomorrow. Okay. So the property's in London. The property is worth £450,000.
Okay.
We're signing.
Is that option. A two bed?
It's a 3-bed semi-detached house.
3-bed semi-detached house.
Yes.
For
£450,000 it's worth. It's on the outskirts of London. It's not. Okay. I'm not telling you it's in Mayfair.
Right. So that's why I asked in London.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the outskirts of London.
Right.
But £450,000 for a 3-bed semi-detached house. She has the right to buy it for £397. Okay, so it's a bit of a discount. Now she's paying £20,000 up front, £20,000 for the right for the option. Okay.
Wow.
She's got a number of months to complete the purchase, but what she's doing is converting that house into two-bedroom flats.
Okay.
So the new value on those is worth £650,000. So £650,000 minus the amount that it takes to convert it, minus any money that she's paid up front.
Yeah.
We're expecting her to profit from that deal to the tune of between £100,000 and £150,000 on her first deal.
On her first deal?
It's her first deal. Yes, it's her first. Yes.
Can I say something? So because I have so many people watching us live. And I just want you to know, if you're listening to us on our Star Radio UK app, tonight it's the property hour, and we're talking about lease options, the alternative, or the is a rival to traditional mortgage. And the strategist, let me put it that way, the strategist is with us tonight, and he's an expert. Richard Shepherd. He's been in the game for a very, very long time, for decades and decades, and he is giving us how simple this model is. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, share the page, invite as many friends and families and colleagues. Just spread the news, and let us all share, and also make a date on the 30th. And before we wrap up, at the end of the program tonight, we'll let you know the date and the venue of the masterclass that is taking place on the 30th of this month. That's next week. A week on Saturday. A week on Saturday. So we'll let you know. And if you want to contribute, or you have any questions, the studio lines will be opening shortly. And if you want to call us, it's 0208 133 or 0208 133 If you're calling from USFA or Canada, it's 001 718 303 2737. And you can send us a text, a WhatsApp message on 07539661744. And on Twitter, it's that Star Radio UK, one word, at Star Radio UK as one word. You can also send us a message on Facebook. There are hundreds of people watching us on Facebook, and it's getting better, and can only get bigger and better, because we've got the strategies and also the expert with us tonight, Mr. Richard Shepherd. He's an investor, a mentor, a trainer, a developer. Should I go on?
Stop there. You're going to make me blush.
So tonight, share the video, share the message, share with people, let them get to know what lease options is and why they should come to this masterclass. Is going your life is not going to be ever the same. You're going to be transformed. It's not an overnight thing, but if you put in the hard work, I believe, and I know Richard is quite a sincere man, very honest to his word, and they do great. They're always on the move with Mr. Leonardo Kaka, and they are the best of the two ever that I've come across in this industry when it comes to lease options. So I trust them that they will deliver. So make a date. I'll let the details out shortly, but then you can join us with your questions or any message that you want to send, or contributions you want to send to Mr. Richard Shepherd. Or if you want to ask anything, you are more than welcome to do that. So Richard, right?
Yes.
The lady, I interrupted you. The lady's first deal is going to make her well over
£100,000
£100,000 in one deal.
with one deal, yes. But I have to say, she has two deals like this.
She has two deals.
Yes.
As in, if you can elaborate on that, please.
This deal is to the west of London.
Okay.
She has another deal to the north of London.
Oh, my.
It's out. The second deal is outside London, to be fair.
Right.
But it's still within the M25.
Oof.
Okay. So yes, with two deals. Now she would. There's no way that she would be able to do that on her own.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not possible. It's way too complex
Complex and
for her to do on her own.
complicated. Yeah.
But with guidance, with the guidance of a mentor,
Yeah.
a lawyer, then she's able to put these deals together in a way that's safe for her, and cash out to a massive amount.
Okay. And so she must be a very, very hardworking lady.
Extremely hardworking. She's an extremely intelligent lady as well.
Mm,
But you know, I wouldn't say she's rich on her own. You know, she's able to access money herself.
mm.
The money that she's using to do this deal isn't hers. She's, using private financiers, etc., etc.
Okay. And
So even though she doesn't have a huge amount of money herself, she's able to make it work for her.
and you mentioned about finance. That's always been the challenge of many, in terms of bad credit and all these bits and pieces that people struggle to uh, sort of come up with a deposit and blah 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 as to the traditional mortgage. But with lease options, as you mentioned, she's using private finance.
Yes.
Okay, it's
So I mean, the key is, and I think this, we're already seeing this happen now, and I'm sure you've already seen this with other guests on your show,
yeah,
Bosman,
yeah.
that we're moving more to a peer-to-peer model
Mm-hmm.
for people doing deals.
Yes.
And I don't see any need why banks should have the monopoly
Mm.
on doing deals. I
Yeah.
think, you know, in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, all she has to do is click her two heels together
Mm-hmm.
and go back to Kansas. In the same way, property investors, they have the power
Yeah.
themselves. All
Mm.
they've got to use is actually work out how to use it.
Yeah. But with this particular lady, it's I'm not targeting her, but I'm excited and happy for her. Um, People that are listening or watching us uh, will want to ask a question, the normal question, as in, okay, my background is in nursing. My background, just in the cleaning industry. I'm a teacher. Does the background of people matter?
Listen, yeah, no, listen. I've just come back from Sweden last
Okay.
week.
Yeah.
I was teaching 100 people about lease options.
100
Okay,
people in
in
Sweden.
in Stockholm,
Wow.
they all want to get. It doesn't work where they are.
Oh
They
my.
can't buy in Sweden because the economic circumstances of Sweden. They got rent caps there, so it
Right.
doesn't make any sense to invest in Sweden because you're not going to get in rent what you spent on the property.
Mm.
Okay, so what they all want to invest in the UK. So we're showing them an efficient way that they can invest in the UK.
Mm.
And some of them are coming to Sweden. Some of them are signing up and trying to, well, they're doing property courses, property investments in from Sweden
Mm-hmm.
in the UK. So in addition to the paperwork that we're signing tomorrow,
Yeah.
we're having a survey done on another property in the north
Oh my.
for one of the Swedish investors that we took on board last year.
Okay.
And again, they're pretty much doubling their money from the investment that they put in.
Yeah.
They've got to put, £25,000 in. They'll get another £25,000 out on top of their £25,000 back. So it makes sense to do it that way. Is it risk free? No, there are risks, but they're mitigated
Mm.
because we've got so much history of doing this 9, 10 years now. And this isn't a new kid on the block
Yeah.
saying, this is what I've done for the last 6 months. This is what we've done for 9 or 10 years. And we've really fine tuned the model to make it work in not 100% of scenarios,
Mm.
but many scenarios.
Mm. Super. Super. So it doesn't matter what you do, you can still get into doing lease options.
We've taken on board people who are high net worth individuals, yes. But we've also taken on board people who are, I don't know, carpenters.
Mm.
We've taken on board people who have a blue collar job
Yes.
over here and also overseas. Well,
Right.
what matters is that you have a passion to want to stop the job
Mm.
and to invest in yourselves so that you can give more time to yourself and your family.
Hmm. That sounds good. Now, Richard, in terms of the 30th, on the 30th, what is really going to take place? I mean, what is happening? I know you mentioned you're going to train and offer share your experience.
Yeah, so what happened is that there's a financial investment company called GlobalWise, who
Global.
GlobalWise,
Okay.
they're
Global.
based in London in Moorgate.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the city of London.
Okay.
They've approached me to ask me if I will do a one-day masterclass on lease options to their clients.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they've got clients, some of whom are based overseas, some of them are based in, Ghana, Nigeria, uh, Russia, all sorts of different countries. And what they're facing is difficulty sometimes getting a mortgage. So they've got money,
But they can't get a mortgage.
but they can't get the mortgage in this country because there are certain restrictions, especially some restrictions that have taken place over the last 5 years that are prohibiting them from getting into the property ladder. So one of those, for example, very quickly, is stamp duty.
Right.
You know, you've got to pay stamp duty, and now if you're an investor, you have to pay a 3% surcharge on the stamp duty, which is limiting the amount that you can do in the UK.
Right.
So we're doing a workshop, a one-day masterclass where we're showing you, we're going to show you an introduction to lease options, exactly what they are. We're going to show you how to find them. We're going to
Yep.
show you how to negotiate them. We're going to show you how the legals work on them.
Okay.
And we're going to show you basically case study after case study after case study of real people, completely, properly referenced how they did that deal and how much profit they made at the end.
Okay. Super. Now, I've got a text come through, and the person is asking about saying that they are not based in the UK. They are based in the US, and as international buyer, is it something that they can take part as in not the masterclass, but is it their finance that's going to work for them, or they can also get to do lease options?
Okay, it's a really good question. We took on board somebody last year from Sweden as a mentee. Okay. At the minute, we're negotiating two deals for them,
Right.
two lease options in Bath.
Okay.
Now, these are commercial deals. They're not residential. They're going to be guest houses.
Okay.
Now, this person works in the USA right now.
Okay.
So what we're doing, and if you're able to come to the masterclass, that would be great. If not, get in touch. But what we're doing is because we've got to show you how it works so you can appreciate exactly what happens. But what we're doing is mentoring him through the process of going through and buying his own properties through a limited company in the UK that's based in the UK, and he's buying these commercial properties into that limited company as lease options, though, but not in a number of years' time, in 2 to 3 years' time, they will have two sets of accounts with which they can refinance those properties from lease options and onto the limited company mortgages,
Okay.
commercial mortgages. So yes, it can work. It works wherever you are. We've got people all over the world who are doing them here.
Okay. So they can. So you can be an international buyer and still own it. They don't have to be British, is it?
No, they don't have to be British at all. No. What you have to remember is that we've adopted these strategies from overseas.
Okay.
But all we've done is to translate them legally, not just legally, actually, but legally. But we've had to translate the marketing, we've had to translate the negotiation for the UK market.
Right. Okay. So on Richard, on your flyer, you say how to make 5,000 to 20,000 per calendar month flipping on sellable properties.
Yes.
So
How does that work?
yeah, how does that work? And it's something that you're going to teach your
It's
students.
something that we're going to teach. Yeah, I mean, very quickly. We've got a number of people, and all they are deal packages. They're finding deals themselves, and rather than having to buy that property with all the risks that entails, they're getting it on a lease option, without even buying the property, they're selling it to an investor or putting it on the open market to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And if in the London area, if you get a deal, we've got people who are selling deals for £10,000 per time.
As a
It's not.
finder's
It's
fee
not
or something like that.
as a finder's fee. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not an outrageous amount to an investor.
Okay.
But if you're able to keep that hold of that property, maybe enhance its value, they're selling deals and making 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 pounds profit. But let's not go to those figures because I'm not saying that you can earn £50,000 per month.
Yeah.
But £5,000 to £20,000 is very realistic, and we have people doing just that.
Okay. Super. And also, I mean, apart from the flipping, lease options, what are the other? I mean, what should these guys be expecting from yourselves?
What they're going to be expecting from us is it's a masterclass. So we're
Yeah.
going to go all the way through the lease option spectrum over the course of that day. It's going to be information overload. I'm afraid everything that I do tends to be information overload. It's too much information for people. But we're going to go from 9 till 6.
Nine to
I'll,
six.
yeah, I'm even going to take
Wow.
questions afterwards for those that still have questions. I love questions, by the way. Um, you're not going to find me hiding from questions because
Yeah.
I love answering questions and I love the challenge of it.
Okay.
Um, and people who maybe they've got a full-time job, they haven't got enough time in their day. We're going to show you how you can also do this pretty much from the comfort of your armchair.
Okay. Right. So I believe that my team, myself and my team are going to be one of your students soon.
You
With
should absolutely.
any discounts for us at all?
Yeah, well, I mean, I should say there is an early bird discount. So if you book before Wednesday the 27th,
Right.
the cost of the course, the price of the course is £297.
Right.
If you book before Wednesday, there's a 50% discount. So literally
50%.
£149 or something.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Great. Now, so at the end of the masterclass, at the end of the 9 to 6 p.m.,
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 150 students, majority of them are going to walk out of the training room. Is it start? I mean, from the word go, are they going to be able, let's say, in the first week, second week, third week, fourth week, be able to package deals and or to go into lease options?
Do you know what, Passman? That's a really good question. They're going to have every tool that they need to be able to do lease options correct. Yes,
Right.
absolutely. It may take them a little bit longer to get started.
Mm.
Now, if they're already in property, they're already doing property, they're already finding deals.
Yeah.
What this is going to give them is a number of tools in their toolbox by which they can make money from those deals.
Okay.
So it will be easier for them in 3 to 4 weeks to make money from lease options. Yes, from somebody who's starting from scratch, it may take them a little bit longer than 3-4 weeks. It may take them up to 2 to 3 months.
Wow. Is it dependent on the student as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, naturally, the person who's got a full-time job, 10 children at home, may find it difficult to find the time to actually invest in property. If you're full-time in property, you're going to find it a lot easier. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And is it practice, or basically just mentoring or mentorship?
It's both. So on Saturday, there are 2 options. We can help you,
Okay.
or you can try it yourself. I don't mind which. I'm going to answer every single question on the day, and I'm happy to answer every single question on the day. I'm not hiding anything.
Right.
And for those that say, "Do you know, I haven't got the time. I've got a full-time job. I'm a doctor. I'm a, whatever." Um, then we can help you actually get started with a sort of hands-free service.
That sounds good. Because the reason I asked that question is that after masterclass, information overload, and people go out there, and some are like, my brain's has it's gone blank, you know, it's gone blank, and oh, okay, let me recall what I scribbled down. So there's that comeback, or in the marketing world, they say after sales service.
Yeah. So even at the workshop, everyone's gonna have workbooks.
Mm,
You know, I've been to some workshops where you don't even provide a workbook to refer to afterwards.
okay.
Yes, there are after sales service after the workshop. That's naturally yes. Um, I'm a busy guy, but we're going to do email service, and also through Global Wise. Global Wise have a proper service where they service customers and they service clients as well.
Mm,
So because we're doing it to mainly their customers, what they told me is that I've got to give a complete after sales service to again answer any single question for a period of say 3 months after the workshop.
mm. Okay, that's great stuff. And somebody sent a message through to ask that is there a group discount?
But depends what the group is. So get in touch. Um, I don't know if people, am I allowed to give the link, Bossman,
Oh
if people want
yes,
to book?
yes.
Okay. So yeah, get in touch. The link, if you want to book, is if I just pull this up here, it's www dot www dot
Mm.
leaseoptions.co. Okay, so
Lease
that
with an S
so it's
options.
lease options with an S on the end .co. So that's not .co.uk, it's just .co.
Oh, dot co, not dot co dot uk.
No, lease www.leaseoptions.co.
Mm.
If you want to call, then you can call on 0208 798 0343. So I'll repeat that. It's 0208
Yeah.
798
Mm.
0343. But to the person that's just asked the question there,
Yes.
I would encourage them to email in
Okay.
at sales at leaseoptions.co. So that's sales
So. Mm.
at leaseoptions.co. Include your telephone number.
Okay.
We'll get back to you to, you know, negotiate a discount for a group booking.
Okay. And I believe I've got a flyer here, so I'll read it out as well later on, and we will take it from there. Now, I mean, one of the points that you put on the flyer is, oh, how to how to negotiate jaw-dropping deals, and
Yes,
no mortgages or credit checks.
yes.
Now, I mean, somebody listening or watching us will say, "What are they talking about?" We're talking about lease options tonight, and Richard, it's he's the expert, he's the strategist, and a very good coach and mentor as well. So, Richard, why? What is no mortgages or credit checks? And
So
uh,
that yeah, so the thing is, if you're going to buy a property
mm,
in the normal way, you're going to have, so if it's a buy-to-let property anywhere in the UK, it's going to be a 25% deposit, pretty much.
yeah,
Okay, so you're going to borrow 75% of it with a mortgage from the bank in order to purchase that property. Because we are not buying the property outright.
mm,
All we're doing is enter into an agreement between the seller and the buyer
mm,
to say, I want the right, but not the obligation to buy your property in this, in this period of time.
right, okay,
How much would I have to pay you for that right? Now, if your seller's going to say, £1,000, just give me £1,000. I need £1,000 to go to China. Okay. Um, they go to China. You've now got control of that property. You're looking after that property for them, and now you can rent it out or whatever. So you've got full control over that property, but you don't own it.
Okay.
The person that's gone to China still owns it technically, but you have full legal control over that property otherwise. And you're doing that without a mortgage. You haven't had to go to the bank to get a mortgage. You haven't had to go to the bank to get credit checked. So it doesn't matter if your credit rating is less than 999. You're able to invest in property so that if the market increases, let's say you've got an option to buy a property for £250,000. The property is now worth £250,000. But let's say you've got a right to buy that property for 5 years.
Okay.
It's in London, it's a 2-bed flat, and the market increases, so now it's worth £325,000. That value is yours. Because you've got the right to buy it for 250, and it's now worth £325,000. You've built up an equity of £75,000 without having to get a bank loan, without having to come up with a huge deposit, without having to be credit checked.
Wow. That sounds good. Like a miracle, mate.
It's a wonderful tool, but I'd like to tell you that I invented it. I didn't. Okay, I didn't invent it.
Right.
In the United States, people have been using lease options for 70 years on residential property.
Okay.
In Canada, they're in use. In Australia, they're in use. In New Zealand, they're in use. So they're already in use in other countries. All that's happened is that maybe early 2000s,
Yeah.
people started using them in the UK. So I
Early
didn't even bring
2000s.
them to the UK. All we've done is, I'll say, is number one, provide a sound legal base for using them, so that now there's more solicitors that are more familiar with them and they will support investors doing them. And number two, we've provided the proof that you can market for these kinds of deals and that you can negotiate these kind of deals in an ethical manner.
Okay. Now, with you mentioned there are 54 ways to do lease options.
Yes.
54 ways.
Yes.
Richard, this is amazing. Sounds so good. And
There's more.
there's
You
more.
know, yeah. We came up with probably 75,
Right.
but we had, through arguments, we had to say, let's be on the safe side and say 54 that you can legally, in a legal way, use with minimum risk.
Okay. So.
But I mean, that goes across, we've got residential lease options, commercial lease options, land and development lease options. You've got more advanced strategies. You've got option trading using options. And then you
Trading.
could, and then you can take it to the nth degree on huge, great big deals. Listen, we've got people who have made cash. We have a couple who made on their first deal on a lease option £178,000 on a commercial property. They never owned the property, and they did that within a 4-month period.
Wow.
Okay, I've got one person right now we're getting very close now to our first £1 million deal. Okay, he's cashing out to the tune of £750,000 on a land deal using an option.
What?
Yes.
So tonight, if you're listening to us, you are we're having a good time here. I mean, it's information overflow, overdose, and I believe that I'm getting more than what I've asked for, and it's none other than the expert himself, the strategist I call him. He knows what he's talking about. He's been in the business and in the game for a very, very long time. Coming up with 54 ways to do lease options, it's no joke, mate. I know what I'm talking about. And for Richard to to be or coming up with a masterclass, you can't afford it. You can't afford not to turn up. The link is available, and I'm gonna read it out. And the phone lines, I can say it's open. If you look into, you have a question you want to ask, you can send us a message, whether on Facebook or through our WhatsApp. Phone number is 07539661744, and also on Facebook as well. You can send us a message as well. The main phone lines, if you want to call us, is 0208 133 or 0208 133 2258. And if you're calling from US of A or Canada, is 001 718 303 2737. And I'm gonna say that the information that Richard is given, it's, I mean, I do this all the time. People will not want to talk about what Richard is spoken about. That the sort of information he's given, I know majority of guys that are into lease options or trainers will not download such information to you. And to me, it's a great deal, and I believe that Richard has done more than enough to entice you and I to sign up and turn up on the day, on the 30th of November. Is taking place. The there's also an early bird discount which you can take advantage of. And what's the cutoff date for the early bird, Richard?
The, so the workshop is on Saturday, the 30th of November.
Okay.
If you book before next Wednesday, before midnight next Wednesday, you get the early bird discount, which is 50% off the normal price.
Of the normal price. So the early bird, that is Wednesday. If you want to be at the master class that you don't want to miss out, this can change your life forever. I mean, if your groups, if your association, if it's a church, you're listening to us, these are the kind of masterclass and training that we need to sign up for. These are the things that will change our life. You've been to 9 to 5 for years and you're struggling. There's a way out. I can tell you for a fact that this can change your life forever. Turn up, get training. Okay, Richard, do you want to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what I should say,
Right.
I've been teaching lease options for something like 7 or 8 years,
Mm.
but for the last 5 years, um, I do about 8 workshops a year.
Eight
Okay,
workshops a year.
eight
Okay.
workshops a year.
That's quite a lot, you
Usually,
know?
usually I'm teaching to about 100 people.
Okay.
Okay, so
Super.
there's 100 people in the room. I also teach them the law around lease options.
The
Okay,
law.
so many times we'll have chartered tax advisors, we'll have accountants, we will have solicitors in the room, and I will be teaching the solicitors about how you actually get these deals done. Okay, so what we're teaching is an end-to-end strategy about how you get lease options done. If this is not theory, it is theory, but it's not just theory. I'm also showing you fully referenced case studies after case study after case study as to what was done, and you will fully understand how it was done, and you will leave with a full understanding about how you can implement this in your property investment career yourself.
Super. And as I said earlier on, Richard has mentioned that we've got up to the 27th of November to register for the early bird discount. That's 50% early bird discount, and it's the 27th, up to the 27th of November. You can get half price of the full price, which is the full price is
297 pounds.
297 but you can get it for 100 and, is it,
£48.50 or something like that.
yeah, so literally you can get it for 150 £49 or yeah, £48 or so. So it's something good to invest into. It can set you up for 2020, the year 2020. It can be your one of your major breakthrough um, arenas to get into. If you've been looking, dreaming, praying, chanting, doing whatever to get into properties, this is your opportunity. This is your moment. This is a time that you can change your life forever. A masterclass by an expert who's been in the trade, coming up with 54 strategies of how you can get onto the property market using lease options. This is amazing. You
If
can,
if, if I could say one other thing, Bossman,
yes.
there's often where buyers are, making an offer for 25% off the market value or 30% off the market value and
Mm,
hoping to get the deal.
mm,
With a lease option, we don't need 25% off.
right.
We can do much better terms than even the cash buyers. Even the people that are using a bridge
Mm,
to get into the property, we are doing much better terms. And when you see the look on the seller's face,
hmm.
when the seller says, "You could really do that for me,"
Yeah.
so it's not a case of that you're not ripping people off as a property investor.
Yeah.
You're solving people's problems, and they are absolutely thrilled with you. And many people will remain friends with you for many years afterwards.
Sure.
So it's a great way of doing deals. It's a fantastic way to earn money because you're earning money, but you're also helping people.
Mm, that sounds good. And who will want to walk away from a deal like this? And that's why I can make all the noise about the 1 day masterclass, and it's a packaging masterclass as well, and lease options. This is a fantastic opportunity, and I believe that it's going to change and transform lives and get people to sort of rethink for the year 2020. And to be quite honest, Richard, I believe it's this particular training is strategic to me. It's strategic
Yeah.
because we've got how many, about 5 weeks to 20, the year 2020.
Yep.
And if you should get yourself onto this masterclass, hey, hooray! I know that I mean, your life would never be the same. Why am I saying that? Because you have what people have worked for years being downloaded to you in a day. So it's a unique opportunity. And Richard, before we wrap up, before we go,
Sure.
I don't know if you have any other stuff that you want to let people know with regards to lease option or the masterclass or whatever you want to let people
Yeah. So
be
I
aware.
think probably the main thing is that we have a breed of property investors that are doing new types of deals.
Right.
Before, it was thought that you could only do these deals up north.
Yeah.
Okay. But 5 years ago, I was based up north and I did a lot of these deals up north.
Okay.
5 years ago, I did a deal with a mentee who was based in London.
Okay.
On that deal, within 4 months, we cashed out to £25,000 on on a type of lease option, which
Okay.
I'll show you about on the day. £25,000 within 4 months without ever owning the property. Okay. So with that, I said, do you know what? This works in London. It actually works better in London than I had
why
even
why
thought of
why
before.
why why does it work better in London?
House prices are so much higher in London than they are in most of the rest of the country.
Mm,
So for you to do a cash deal in London, you need 25% off the deal.
mm,
Now, that's not easy to negotiate. If
yeah.
you've got a £600,000 flat or a £600,000 house, you're trying to negotiate as a cash investor
Mm.
£125,000 discount. There's not a lot of people that could just give that away and just write that
No
off.
way. No.
Okay. As a lease option, we don't need 25%.
Hmm.
We could do deals with a 6% discount
Okay.
and still walk away with a good chunk of cash in our pocket.
Wow.
Not only that, that it's more attractive to the seller
Mm.
to give away a 6% discount
Mm.
rather than give away a 25% discount.
Wow. How good is that? How amazing is that? I mean, as I said, it looks like it's a miracle happening. Sort of a mystery, and it's doable. It's taking place, and as Richard mentioned earlier on, there's a lady that is closing her deal tomorrow, and she'll be cashing in possibly well over 100,000 pounds on a deal. And why would you want to step back? Why would you not take advantage of the opportunity? Early bird discount is available. Um, you want to get into groups and you want to come as a group, or you want to book it for somebody, you can even book it for somebody as a birthday gift, surprise them that you want to change their life. That is a good deal, better than buying that perfume for over 300 pounds, man. I'm not i'm not i'm not I mean, I'm not jealous, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't spend that much on a perfume and then um, not get educated to transform my life. This is better than I can say. People might disagree, but hey, this might be even better than a degree that you've worked for 3 years. Because when it changes your life, boom, you're going for 3 years for a degree. Come and get a job, you'll be squeezing. I don't want to say what is on my mind now, Richard. I just want to take it easy. But hey, we're wrapping up now, and I believe we've got about 4 minutes to wrap up. And I believe it's been good information, download and overload. It's been brilliant, and we cannot stop here. We're still going to make sure the masterclass, the flyer is just going to be flying in your face almost every day uh, till the week that's till the 30th. So make a date and the venue. Richard, do you want to, or you want them to call or email?
it's yeah, just email in or go to the website. The venue will be there.
Okay,
I will let you know that it's in Moorgate. So it's in
it's in
Moorgate,
Moorgate. Okay,
London, which is it's the city of London.
City of London in Moorgate. Okay,
Yeah.
so make a date with Mr. Richard Shepherd, and on the 30th of November, it's a 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. masterclass. You are going to step out of that masterclass reloaded, refueled, revitalized, rejuvenated, revived, and transformed. I know. And that is something that you can't afford to miss. It is a life changing moment of a masterclass. Make a date, and I know that Richard will deliver. And on the finishing note, Richard, if you have any shout out you want to give out to people, or whatever you want to say to our listeners and audience and viewers.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend and business partner, Mr. Leo Akaka.
Right.
Absolutely wonderful investor.
Wonderful.
Gives a huge, wonderful service to the community. So
Yes.
he's very popular throughout the community,
Mm.
and also the people behind Global Wise Investments, who have invited me to come in to deliver this masterclass to their clients.
Sure. Sure. Super. Super. And thank you so much, Richard, for tonight, for joining us. We are more than privileged to have you join us tonight. It's
And
been wonderful.
thank you for the invitation, boss man. I'm in awe of you because what you do is absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. And we to God alone be all the glory. And thank you for joining us tonight. But hey, make a date with us on the 30th of November in Moorgate. But we've got the details here. Make sure you can call this number and book an early bird booking for 50% discount. It's 0208 798 0343. That's 0208 798 0343. Or you can send an email to sales at lease options. Sales at lease options, one word. Sales at lease options with an S. Dot co, not dot co dot uk. It's dot co dot co. So www.sales. Oh, sorry, I'm confusing the two. So email is sales at leaseoptions.co, and the website to you can make a booking is www.leaseoptions lease www.leaseoptions.co, not .com, not .co.uk, but .co. That's www.leaseoptions.co, and you will find all the details and the venues. And an early bird discount is on till up to 27th of November. Thank you so much, Richard, and we hope to catch up soon and to see you on the 30th of November as well.
Look to see you then as well.
All right, then. Thank you. And tonight we've been talking to Mr. Richard Shepherd, and he's an investor, a trainer, and also a mentor, a mentor, and a developer as well. And he is going to have a masterclass on the 30th of November 2019 from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You are going to be loaded with information that will transform your life forever. Make a date with him, and the website, you can book your tickets on the website. It's going for 297 pounds, but if you book early, you can have it for 148 pounds. That's more than 50% discount, and it is the website is www.leaseoptions.co, leaseoptions.co. And if you want to call them, it's 0208 798 0343, 0208 798 0343, or you can send an email. It's sales at leaseoptions, sales@leaseoptions.co, and is a masterclass of how you can make 5,000 to 20,000. You'll be thought that you'll be mentored, and make a date with them, and you will never regret it. Thank you for tonight for joining us on all the social media platforms, especially on the Star Radio UK app. Thank you for downloading, and please stick and stay with us. We have more programs, music tonight happening, and some fantastic news coming your way tomorrow on the morning show with Mr. Archie and the ever faithful Mr. Frank Davis. Join them tomorrow morning from the hours of 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's always packed, fully packed with fun, with current news and current affairs and news and headlines, and also breaking news as well. Make a date and never make a mistake of touching this dial. It's been me, your servant, KBA Bossman, on the Property Hour Show live on Star Radio UK. Join us next week. It's going to be bigger, better. We have an international architect joining us. Oh my, you don't want to miss it. His story will turn your life around. Join us next week as we host one of Africa's finest next week. Make a date from 7 p.m. on Thursday. Thank you. God bless. No stress, nothing less. Good night.
Mixing the tracks back to back.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Job done.
The international boy, DJ Perez.
Joanna, Joanna, how you do me like Joanna, Joanna, how you gonna do me like?
Mr. Lover, you know say I don't get wahala.
Baby, all of my property. All of my property.
You won't let me out, but you let me out. You it was fucked up. You won't let me out, only you let me out. Go down for the back, go down, go down. Come around for the back, come around for the back.
Mr. Lover, you know say I don't get wahala. Anyhow you like, I go do my dear, as long as it no cost palava.
Spells.
Promise say you go treat me well, oh. Give me good love and no be kiss and tell, oh. No be say after that wine I'm well, oh. Make you no go leave your girl for inside well. Woyo, woyo, woah, woyo, woyo, woah, woyo, 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 woyo,
Love no show, no be choice. This your love is sweet of paradise. Tell you we am a say paradise. If they put you on a paralyze you. No baby, I can't do this without you. No my love, I can't go there without you. If it is as if all I lay, me have to be waiting for a calendar. Let me a stand and go for your love and the matter I go shoot one day. If I break your heart now all is village. I study this your love for freedom college. Nay, you too sweet like a young porridge. Baby, when they might
woyo, woyo, woah, woyo, woyo, woah, woyo, 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 woah. My baby, Jeje. I love her, I love you, Jeje. See how I love it, no be 10-10. Cause when I did with you, my baby, no regret, yeah. Bring your body, put it all on me. Boy, it's all I wanna see. We don't need no referee, yo. All we need is privacy. I love her. You say I don't get wahala. Anyhow you like, I go do my dear. As long as it no cost palava. Promise say you go treat me well, oh. Give me the love and no be kiss and tell. No be say after that wine I'm well, oh. Make you no go leave your girl for inside well.
my baby, they when you forget. She say you want you can get, and I say, baby,
fresh on the beat.
say you won't put me for trouble. What is my crime? Oh, you justify act. What if I die?
The international boy, DJ Perez.
You must be a bumbo. You blow my mind. No be my mind. Cause you don't change my plan. Yeah, I was locked up. You won't let me out, but you let me out. You it was fucked up. You won't let me out, only you let me out. I don't need to say this, but I guess here you are, babe.
Good evening, and you are welcome to Starr Radio UK. I'm delighted to